There's 11 rules that you work by, and you work every day with a lot more rules than that. So when we talk about the rules, they're all basic, simple rules that the FAA is required to write in simple English. So all of our old rules that were written by lawyers have now been changed to be written by normal human beings. You have to be able to read, write, and understand the English language, which that isn't a challenge for anybody in the room. Again, you have 24 months to finish them, and if you finish your airframe or your power plant and then go back in to take your power plant or your airframe to add to your rating, that same rule applies. The endorsement is good forever, but you have to, once you start, you have to finish it in 24 months. So if you're going to be deployed, or your wife just gave birth to triplets, or something like that where you can't finish it, try to finish one or the other, or don't start until you're ready to go. Otherwise, you start at the very beginning, have to go through the whole process again. There's only two ratings, the airframe or the power plant. That's all there is. There's nothing else in there. It's not a big deal. So the applicable experience requirements, it's 18 months of continuous work, including your A school. So if you started your A school and then went away to MP duty or some other TDY thing, then you have to restart your calendar when you go back to your squadron. So it's 18 months of continuous activity on the aircraft or in your A school and the aircraft, or 30 months. So we're really not interested in if you've had 20 years experience. If you're a master gunnery sergeant and you've been working your whole life on these, we only have to account for the 30 months or the 18 months. The rules are very simple. This is the way the rule is written. So this is Rule 6579, and this is what we've talked about. You're going to have to pass a practical skills test. The way the test is written and the way the DME has to conduct the test is he has to treat you as a novice. Even if you've been in the Marine Corps for 20 years and you have lots of experience, he has to base the test on you as a novice mechanic to show your skills. So he can't ask you to do complex, difficult operations. This is a basic test. This is what you can do with your license. A certificated mechanic may perform or supervise the maintenance, preventative maintenance, or alterations of an aircraft or an appliance or a part thereof for which he is rated, excluding major repairs or major alterations of propellers and any repairs to or alterations of instruments, and may perform additional duties in accordance with those three rules. However, he may not supervise the maintenance, preventative maintenance, or alterations of, or approve for return to service any aircraft or appliance or part thereof for which he is rated unless he has satisfactorily performed the work concerned at an earlier date. That piece, this paragraph, is what separates us from other countries, organizations. In another country, say any of the European countries, Canadian countries, you have a logbook as a mechanic, and as you perform a function, say you worked on a Cessna 150, that's logged in the logbook. When you've finished all the things you can do on the Cessna 150, that's endorsed by a senior mechanic. Then that senior mechanic gives you that, when he gives you that authorization, that endorsement, then you go to a CAA inspector who actually examines you on that type of airplane. So to get to where you're at as an A&P mechanic in America, it can take the guy in Canada or the guy in Europe or in Africa, it can take them 15 years. So that paragraph, which prohibits you from doing things you've never done before unless you've been supervised, kind of circumnavigates their system of having done everything and supervised. So this gives you the ability to learn with your A&P and progress in your career much rapidly than you would if you were in a different country. So if you are only going to have an airframe rating, your airframe rating may approve and return to service an airframe or any related part or appliance after he has performed, supervised, or inspected its maintenance or alteration. In addition, the airframer can do 100-hour inspections required by Part 91 of this chapter on an airframe or related parts or appliances and approve it for return to service. What that basically is that as an A&P mechanic, you can inspect an airplane, and many airplanes are in service like in flight schools or in 135 charter operations. They require a 100-hour inspection. A&P mechanics can accomplish that. What an A&P mechanic cannot accomplish is an annual inspection, which is very similar to a 100-hour, but that requires an inspection authorization. The power plant is exactly the same wording, except it says power plant. You can do the same exact thing. This is an interesting rule. 6589 has cost a lot of guys a few $100s or a suspension. You have to have your license available for inspection to any federal, state, local law enforcement agency, or the NTSB or the FAA at all times. So if you have left it in your truck in your driveway and you rode in with somebody else and they asked to see it, you're in trouble. So keep it with you, keep it in your toolbox, keep it where you work, and you must surrender it to any of the organizations I just mentioned.